Alright, welcome back guys. In this video, I will show you how to retouch this particular image step by step inside Photoshop. Let's get started. Alright, once you need to retouch an image that has dark spots, I always advise you spend some time to remove the dark spots. So let's duplicate the layer here by pressing Ctrl J, and let's hide the original background. Double click here and rename it to subject. On the subject layer, we want to do some retouching and remove these dark spots from her face. You can either do this with the patch tool or the spot healing brush tool. For now, I'm just going to choose the spot healing brush tool because it removes the dark spot and softens the area. On the options bar, we have the normal blending mode set and the type is set to content aware. Let us now increase the size of our brush and just begin to paint to get rid of these dark spots. After taking some time to remove the dark spots, let us see the before and after. So here's the before and here's the after. Now the next thing we have to do is to even out the skin tones. So let us create one more copy of this. Press Ctrl+ J to duplicate it. And let's hide this one again. Let us rename this one to color. Let's add one more copy by pressing Ctrl J. And let's rename this one to texture. Right click on the texture and convert it to smart object. Then press Ctrl+I to invert it, or you go to image and then choose adjustments and then choose invert. Because we converted the image to a smart object, the invert command came in as a smart filter. Now let us change the blending mode from normal to vivid light. Let us add two filters to it. Let us go to filter and then choose blur, and let's add Gaussian blur. If you increase the blur, you can gradually begin to see the original image. So let's reduce the blur. On the texture layer, I want the blur to get rid of all the colors and retain just the roughness or the textures. So I'll gradually begin to increase the radius to a nice value. I think 1.6 is okay, so I'll click OK. Let us go again to filter, and this time let's go to order and choose high pass. If you reduce the radius, it will be like nothing has been applied to the image. We can then gradually begin to increase the radius to even out the colors. So at the radius of 20%, you can see that the colors do not actually look even at this stage. But if I take it to 40 pixels, you can see the result we have here on the screen. The colors look more even. Let's take it even further. I think 45 is a good value. Now I'll just click OK. After this step, the next thing you have to do is to add a mask to this texture layer and invert it. So come here below the layers panel and just click to add a layer mask to it. Then select the mask. Let's right click here and choose large thumbnail. Make sure the mask is selected and not this option here. Select the mask and press Ctrl+I. Now the mask is black. Switch to the brush tool. On the options bar, choose a soft round brush. Make sure the mode is set to normal, opacity is set to 100%, but you can reduce the flow. If you take the flow up to 100, the brush will have a lot of effect on the image. So let's take the flow down to like 20%. With the mask selected, I need to review all the filters I've applied, so I'll make sure the foreground color is set to white. I'll zoom into the image and then just gradually begin to paint to fix it. With a flow of 20%, I can be able to paint several times before I see the desired result. After clearing the image, let's see the before and after. As you can see, her eyes still look the same, the nostrils still look the same, and the mount still look the same. That's what you should be aiming for. And as you can see, we also even out the skin tones nicely. Now, let's create one stand visible layer at the top. With the top layer here selected, press Ctrl Alt Shift and E. Let's hide all of this. And possibly let's put it into one group. Let us now select the layer at the top, and then let us go to adjustment layers, and let's add hue saturation. Let's just increase the saturation to add the colors and make it pop. This is the before and this is the after. Let's put these two layers into one group, and let us create one stand visible layer at the top again with this adjustment. Ctrl Alt Shift E. Here we go. With this layer selected, let us right click and convert it to Smart Object. Let us go to Filter, and then let's choose Sharpen, and let us add Smart Sharpen. I will then increase the amount to 397% and take the radius to 3.1 pixels and click OK. Let us click on this arrow to expand this group. As you can see, it came in with the max. So let us select the max, then switch to the brush tool, then press Ctrl plus I to invert it. Now the whole max is black. With the max selected, let us begin to paint with white as foreground to reveal the sharpen filter to just the portions we want. I will take the flow of the brush up to 100% and just paint around here. After completing this step, let us take some time to paint the shadows and highlight to add some dimensioning to the face. I'm going to go to the adjustment layer icon here and choose the curves adjustment. The highlights or the brightest portions are always here on the right, and the darkest portions are always here on the left. To find the brightest spot on this image, click on the target hand icon here. Just begin to hover on the image. As we move on the image, you can see it being denoted here on the graph. I'll just give a click here. Once I click here, I can now hover inside here and decide what I need to do with the highlights. In this case, I need to brighten the highlights even more, so I'll just take it off ever so slightly. Let's hide this adjustment for now. And I'll just rename it to highlights. Now let us select the max, and let's press Ctrl plus I to invert it. This sends the image back the way it was. With the brush tool, we can then adjust the flow of the brush and make sure we have a soft round brush selected. Let's now begin to paint on the portions with the highlight to reveal them. When painting the highlights, you should always consider where the light is coming from. As you can see, this portion of the face is brighter, which means the light comes from this direction. So the shadows will appear this way, which is why you see me painting some highlights here. After painting the highlights, let us now paint the shadows. I'll come over here and add another curves adjustment layer. Then I'll pick the target icon here and simply drag on these darker shadows here and take them down. This darkens the portions instantly. Now I'm going to select the maps, press Ctrl plus I to invert it. Then with the brush tool, I'll take the flow down and also adjust the opacity. Now I'll gradually begin to paint here to reveal the shadows. I'll put these two layers into one group. I'll call it shadows and highlights. Now let's see the before and after. As you can see, the image was flat. With the shadows and highlights, we gave some depth to the face. Let us again create one stand visible layer at the top by pressing Ctrl Alt Shift E, and I'll rename this to Final. Let's enable the original background to see the before and after. So this is the before and this is the after. huge difference. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you found this video very helpful, please support our channel by subscribing and hitting the bell icon. I'm going to see you in the next one tomorrow. Good luck.